Good afternoon. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive. We're here in New Rochelle at the site of our new Rochelle Family Court building with elected officials from both Westchester County and from Bronx County in New York City to review, listen to plans and review where we stand on Penn Station access, a project that will be described in a second by leaders of the MTA that will benefit the people of the Bronx and benefit the people of Westchester. Ruben Diaz, Jr., the Honorable Bronx Borough President, and myself have been two of the key spokespeople for this effort, which comes out of the negotiations by the MTA, the state of New York, with Amtrak. And we're very pleased that we're moving in the right direction. We want to give the people of the Bronx and of Westchester an update on where we are. And we're joined by elected members of the New York State Senate, the New York State Assembly, and the Westchester County government. I will introduce each of them, and they'll share some of their thoughts. We've had a briefing from the MTA. There have been questions. There are certainly unresolved issues that will be discussed over the days to come, but the elected officials that are with us here today will each express some of their thoughts individually. So first, let me introduce the President of the Metro-North Railroad, the Honorable Catherine Rinaldi.
Thank you, Mr. County Executive. I'm thrilled to be here today and to have the opportunity to explain more about the benefits of this project, which will bring regional connectivity to 4 stations in the Bronx. We'll link those stations to employment opportunities throughout the region, give them a one-seat ride down to Penn Station, provide access to the west side of Manhattan. It's the most transformational project this area has seen, and we are so happy to be leading it and be part of this effort. So thank you today for the invitation, Mr. County Executive, and we're just thrilled to be here.
Thank you. And also with the MTA, the Penn Station Access Project Executive, Tom McGuinness.
Thank you. It's a great honor, privilege to be here today, have a chance to talk about this great project. As Kathy said, many benefits that will take place along the corridor, additional stations in the Bronx, a project being delivered as a design-build project in New York State. We've proven effective and efficient ways of delivering this project, and I'm looking forward to delivering this to the users of Metro-North and the Westchester and Bronx counties on time and on budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. This project will create west side access to Penn Station for commuters that use train stations in Westchester County and in Fairfield County along the New Haven line. The stations of New Rochelle, Larchmont, Mamaroneck, Harrison, Rye, Portchester, and then over the border, Greenwich, Old Greenwich, Coscob, Riverside, and Stamford. I know I've just auditioned for a job as an MTA conductor. All of those stations will have direct service through this Hellgate route into Penn Station on the west side of Manhattan. Currently, commuters from Westchester County can only access Grand Central Station through the New Haven, Harlem, and Hudson lines. And the residents of the East Bronx have no mass transit that takes them into Penn Station. So our elected officials from the state level have been strong advocates for this. And as I said, there's any number of questions in logistics and implementation, which each of them will be fighting strongly for their neighborhoods. But we appreciate the fact that they're here. So since we're in the Senate district of the Honorable Shelley Maher, I'll let her go first, followed by 2 of her Senate colleagues. Then we'll go through our Assembly colleagues and through the rest of our speakers. Thank you. Senator Maher.
Thank you, Mr. County Executive, and I do share New Rochelle with the Majority Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins, who isn't here. And I know I am very thrilled about this project, not only because of the access it will provide to the west side of Manhattan, but the opportunities for jobs for people going to the Bronx and from the Bronx up to New Rochelle and to Westchester. It is a growth opportunity, a real investment in the future of Westchester and the Bronx. I'm very hopeful that as we work on this project together, we will find opportunities for our neighbors to find good jobs on this project, which is a big construction project. It's in the best tradition of New York to allow people and to encourage people from our communities to get these jobs. I look forward to working closely with the MTA and with our leadership to get this done, hopefully within the next 4 to 5 years, and then to fantastically have access to the west side of Manhattan. So thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Senator Maher. Next, Senator Jamal Bailey, who has the distinction, along with Senator Alessandro Biaggi, of representing a portion of Westchester County and a portion of the Bronx. Senator Bailey.
Thank you, County Executive Latimer. I want to echo the sentiment, echo your sentiments earlier, and how many briefings you brought us together together, along with our outgoing Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. So I appreciate both of you and the commitment of the MTA. In this plan, I represent the great city of Co-op. It is a community like no other in the state of New York, the largest naturally occurring retirement community, 50,000 plus people strong in one area, and it has been a transit desert. And this project is sorely needed so that individuals in Co-op City can get to work faster. We have one of the largest union density populations in Co-op City. Seniors also need this access, so this cannot come any sooner. I would also like to echo the sentiments of my colleague, Senator Maher, when we're thinking about hiring, when we're thinking on making sure who is working on this project. It should be reflective of the communities that this will assist and that the residents that will be being transported come from. So I also want us to make sure that this is going to continue the process of uniting the Bronx and Westchester. I represent the Bronx and Mount Vernon, and the Bronx and Mount Vernon share street names. And so we have a shared economy. We have a lot of things in common, and this would only bring our region together, and also with Lower Fairfield County in Connecticut, right? So the entire region is going to be one that's better for economic development, for jobs, and also we just have to make sure that we stay together in this project. And in 4 to 5 years, my daughters, who may be old enough to take the train, I'm not sure if I'm going to let them do that, but at least they're going to have the option to be able to do so from the Bronx downtown without worrying. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Bailey. Now, Senator Luis Sepulveda from the Bronx.
Thank you, County Executive Latimer, and I want to also give a shout out to the Borough President for the great work they've done on this project. I'm looking at it primarily as an economic development project. 2 of the stations, Parkchester and Hunts Point, are in my district. And make no mistake, it's one of the most economically depressed regions probably in the entire country. So to me, having our constituents, having our residents being able to go, get a job in Manhattan, get there a lot quicker, but not only that, but also to go as far as Connecticut. Also having individuals in Connecticut come to our communities, get jobs in our communities or into the city. But I want to make sure that now people that when these stations are developed, that we also have individuals from outside of the Bronx coming in and spending their hard-earned monies in our local restaurants. The Bronx Zoo is very close to one of the proposed sites, one of the station in Parkchester. And in those areas, you see that even though you have these national treasure like the Bronx Zoo, it doesn't really bleed out economically to the rest of the community. So it's almost like an island on itself. So I'm very thrilled by the fact that you can bring more individuals to these areas, Parkchester and Hunts Point, to spend money. But it's very critically important to me in that same vein that we have a significant amount of set-aside jobs so that people that live in these areas, in the economically depressed areas, are able to get employment and benefit from such a large project. We don't want to get shut out. We want to make sure that people in our community are able to get jobs on this site, and also working with the federal version of the NWBEs to make sure that they get their bite of this project. So please, I'm going to continue to push that issue about local hiring. It's extremely important to me, and I hope that the MTA and my colleagues are on board with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. We have with us from Westchester, representing New Rochelle, Scarsdale, Pelham, White Plains, and Eastchester, Assemblywoman Amy Paulin.
You've memorized that almost as well as I have. Thank you. My colleagues have talked about the importance of job creation and the economic benefit of this project. I want to think of it backwards. It's also going to help sustain and improve Westchester because of the people choose to live often where they work. And, I know that we did when we moved to Westchester County. We both worked in Midtown on the east side. So by allowing us to have access to the west side, it will encourage and make our property values higher. It will help economically across the board. And probably most important, connect us, as has been said, from Connecticut to the Bronx and beyond, to Manhattan. And it's a real benefit to have that. I know I'll admit I often go to the west side and I drive because of the lack of access. Here, we will have an ability to take the train. It will improve our environment in a very big way by lessening all of those carbon fumes. And we will then be able to take advantage of the concerts, housing, housing reversed, the educational benefits of going back and forth, and the healthcare benefits of going back and forth. So it is a terrific project, one that benefits the Bronx and Westchester, and I'm very, very proud to have been the Corps chair during the time when this was developed more fully, and working so closely with the MTA to see it finally come to fruition. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Assemblywoman Paulin. Next speaker is Assemblyman Nader Sayegh of the City of Yonkers.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to join with my colleagues on the state level, county government, to really commend this so tremendous, really worthy project that really rises to the level of a renaissance. This is a renaissance for Westchester and the Bronx. It impacts economic development, jobs, the environment, and for me, representing a city like Yonkers, New York, recently becoming the third largest city in the state, it's reflective of a truly growing population on the West End, the waterfront part of Westchester County. So I'm concerned, and I'm as optimistic as I am and supportive of this project. I hope we continue to look at methods and means to tie in the Hudson Line, tie in the waterfront communities, so that this becomes a tremendous benefit for the entire county of Westchester and New York City. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Assemblyman Sayegh. And we were also joined in our session, briefing session with MTA by Assemblywoman Karina Reyes of the Bronx and Assemblywoman Amanda Septimo, both of whom were with us today and participated. And we had other state legislators who had staff members here as well to take some of this information back. We have with us now the Majority Leader of the Westchester County Board of Legislators, the Honorable Mary Jane Shimsky.
Thank you, George. This is such an exciting project. It will take our siloed labor markets, and our labor markets in the New York region are siloed. If you live along the Hudson Line, you think twice about taking a job that has Penn Station only access, for example, and that's true no matter which way you crisscross the region. We're starting to break open the silos. We're starting to integrate our labor market. That's going to be great news for our families. That's going to be great news for our businesses. All of the jobs that will be created by construction will be very important to the construction trades, but that's only the beginning because of what it will do for the rest of our economy and what it will do, quite frankly, for our travel and leisure economy as well. I look forward to working with the MTA over the years to continue breaking down more silos and making our labor and our business markets completely integrated across Westchester County and throughout the New York region. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shimsky. Next, County Legislator Damon Maher.
Thank you, Mr. County Executive. And as I look around, I'm possibly the only person here with a day job that involves commuting into Manhattan still. And so you can't imagine how thrilled I am to have additional access into Manhattan. And also, as a long-suffering Knicks and Rangers fan, it would be nice to have a little more convenient access, and hopefully, you know, I'm sure this project will be done before they win another championship, either of them. So you don't have to rush that much. But yeah, sooner than that, well, 3 or 4 years. And finally, just to make more tangible the comments made about the labor market and sort of the synergy that we have and can be enhanced between Westchester and the Bronx. You know, I have elderly neighbors, one next door, one across the street, both who have home health aides. And either, depending on the home health aides schedule, it's either every day, or every 3 or 4 days, or once a week. The home health aide has a husband in the Bronx where they live who drives the home health aide up, drives back home, later on drives back up, drives them both back home. That kind of adds a little misery to their life, and it adds a lot of misery to all of us when you multiply the number of cars that take that kind of commute every day. So you're going to alleviate a lot of misery, and that's always good. Thank you.
And our host here today in the city of New Rochelle, undergoing a very dynamic renaissance under his leadership, the mayor of the city of New Rochelle, Noam Bramson.
Thank you very much, County Executive, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Truly a pleasure to be here. My colleagues have already spoken of the regional benefits of this project, and they are compelling in both economic and environmental terms. So I'll speak to it from a more local orientation. As we know, the line between the east and west sides splits just south of the New Rochelle Transit Center. And that means that when this project is completed, our station will be the closest to Manhattan with direct service to both sides. That is obviously a tremendous asset for commuters and reverse commuters here in New Rochelle and in surrounding communities as well. Helps make our community a more attractive place to live. And it does foster the transit-oriented development that has been a focal point of the city's energy and policymaking for several years now. So I'm grateful for the partnership and the leadership that has brought this concept to the brink of fruition, and I'm looking forward to getting it over the finish line. Thank you.
I want to thank all of our elected colleagues from the different levels of government for being here today to talk about this project, to repeat this project under the direction of the MTA, Metropolitan Transit Authority, Metro North Railroad, will open up access to Penn Station from Westchester commuters along the New Haven line from New Rochelle north to Portchester, and will also allow for reverse commuting from those who live in the East Bronx who have a reason to work or otherwise in Westchester County, and then also Westchester residents who work in the East Bronx. They'll have that access as well. I might add, East Bronx residents will finally have access to the New Rochelle Amtrak station for intercity travel. If they're heading to Boston, as an example, they'll be able to take a train ride to New Rochelle and then change over to Amtrak. So we're all very excited about what this represents. The timeline on it will take a couple of years until it's done. But that's usually the case anytime we have these mass transit initiatives, and we're excited that it's made significant progress over the course of this period of time. We're grateful for that. I would also highlight that this connection between the Bronx and Westchester is not new. Prior to 1898, Westchester and the Bronx were part of one county. And when the Bronx became part of New York City at that point in time, same year that New Rochelle incorporated, all of this is not on the final exam, but it does represent a natural and long-term tie between the borough of the Bronx and the county of Westchester, and we hope to continue that in other ways. There is a narrative out there that talks about how the city and suburbs are intrinsically in opposition, that somehow the suburbs think it benefits by somehow taking benefits out of the city, or that the city looks at the suburbs as being a negative influence on the things that they try to accomplish. The future of this region is on city and suburban cooperation. Westchester County, as the northern suburb adjacent to the Bronx and close to Manhattan, sees our future tied together with the future of the city of New York. There is no strategy by which the city of New York doesn't succeed and somehow Westchester can still succeed. We are intertwined, and that relationship is here today. As I've often said, I grew up literally in a section of Westchester County across the street from the Bronx. I went to college in the Bronx. My first job was in the Bronx. My first girlfriend was in the Bronx. So the Bronx-Westchester connection didn't work out, but it was fine. The connection between the two jurisdictions is essential for the Bronx future and for Westchester's future. And of course, both of us are connected to the borough of Manhattan, and that's important as well. So we're here together to advance the project as supportive of what the MTA is doing, and we look forward to having more progress updates in the days to come. I don't know if we have any questions from the press or from the community. So I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions on any of these topics, you can reach out to Catherine Chaffee of our team at 995-2932. She can connect you to the MTA representatives, any of our elected colleagues, if you have any questions for them. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.